Thanks for coming, champions for the Maryland game on defense. Joey Bosa played very hard, had a sack, 5 quarterback pressures. Gary Conley played well, and Eli Apple played well. Both those guys just kind of take them for granted because they're playing fairly well on the outside. Player of the game was Sam Hubbard. Did a great job. He had a forced fumble, pass broken up, interception, quarterback pressure, 2 sacks, tackle for loss, and 3 tackles. But have a day, Sam. And he's good. Good young guy, good young player, incredible future. Maryland offense champions, wide receiver Braxton Miller once again is learning how to play receiver, and you know, for the fan or for someone, you know, when he caught the ball nice, he did. He did what he's doing. He also blocked 2 screen passes very well. One was Jalen, I believe, and one was Mike on the little smoke screens, and that's a big part of playing receiver, is doing the other things. Jalen Marshall played very well, 89% grade out. Offense line, you had Taylor Decker and Jacoby Boren. Tight ends both graded out. Marcus Ball is a guy he's played 38 plays, and that's way up, obviously. And Nick Vanette. So we're getting a little more comfort. We don't have much depth there, but those 2 guys are playing okay. Players of the game, the 2 quarterbacks, Cardell Jones and JT Barrett. Obviously, Cardell Jones had, I think, statistically his best day. 90% completion rate, 75% completion rate, almost 300 yards, and took care of the football. Did a very good job managing the offense, checking the ball down in situations, and I think did a very good job leading the team. JT Barrett is an incredible leader, 100% completion rate, 88 total yards, three rushing touchdowns, and that's that. Special teams here. Special efforts, Gary Conley, Jalen Marshall, and Adolphus Washington had, I think it's a third get our hand on a field goal. Third one this year. Adolphus got his hand on one. And Special Forces player of the game was Craig Fada, one of my favorite players and a guy that does things right. So excited for big time home game, night game atmosphere, and ready to go answer your questions for you.
Front row, Dave.
Urban, JT is the red zone quarterback as well as he did in that role. Barring something unforeseen, do you think that's a permanent move?
I think so, but I'm not writing that in Sharpie yet. We'll see how it goes. I think everyone on our team, to see him with his energy, and he's a good player. And he gives us that extra. Cardell can certainly run, but when you have that threat, you saw it Saturday, you have to defend that now.
I was going to use the word energy. Do you feel like it energized the team? It seemed to energize the crowd. Did you?
I think so. I think JT's got the personality and work ethic and respect amongst everybody in this room. And that's not saying Cardell doesn't. Cardell's plays his tail off now. So that's a good issue right now.
Front row right, Austin.
Urban, you've come in several times and talked about how much you wanted Braxton to get to that 10-touch or more barrier. When you have those conversations with him, is that something that he has expressed as well, that he wants to be more involved? Does he ask for that? Or?
What do you think?
I'm guessing the answer is no, but what
No. Every good quality player wants the football, and we don't discourage that. That goes back to my days in 1986 here with Chris Carter was playing receiver. He really wanted the ball. What did Coach Bruce do? Give the ball. So we don't look at that as a negative. Now it becomes a social media fiasco and selfish, where it's getting away with production. And when we go out and recruit skilled athletes, we want them to want the ball.
Yeah.
And so when me and Braxton have conversations, it's about how do we get him the ball and make sure he's fundamentally sound to do it. We can't take the hand off the running away and do those. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's the right way to express that feeling?
I want the ball. And I think I don't mean to be sarcastic, because I've had some situations where the appropriate way is not to have your uncle call me or to have tell you guys and then you guys whatever. But I hope there's enough respect and relationship with guys like Braxton or Zeke Elliott, the players we have, that we are trying to get the guys that deserve the ball. And they know. I think I'd be shocked if we said, Braxton, are those coaches working at keeping you involved? And he said, my gosh. So I think that answers your question.
Far right, Clay.
been more, as much discussion about these black jerseys as there has, it seems to me, about the use of your quarterbacks. How do you go about, my understanding is you don't have to wear these, or what's your decision-making process
Decision making?
to wear them? Or did they send them and you say, all right, we're wearing them?
No, well, the story goes as they came in last year, and I think Gene, every year that we, I think every year we do I don't get real involved with uniforms, and especially a place like Ohio State where we're knee deep in tradition. And so Nike came to us and said, what do you think of this? And my first reaction, no way, no chance. And I looked at it and said, whoa, and it looked pretty sharp. And then Gene looked at it. Granted, I think there's some channels that everybody has to run them through to make sure that they're on par with what's expected of Ohio State. And then you start thinking about the student body, the fans, a unique experience, recruiting players, and it's kind of a unique experience.
Do you poll the player? Do you ask them, hey?
I think I did. Not the whole team, because a good bunch of guys don't care what they think.
You really
But
like
the leaders of the team, I asked them, and I'm sure you know the reaction.
Yeah, it's an age thing. The black matte helmet, you really like that?
I haven't seen it.
Front row, Bill.
Aside from the X's and O's part of having JT play in the red zone, how much of a lift, if there is a lift, and just having him involved in a significant way so that a guy like him, who was a captain, who was obviously the guy last year, has a real role in the team?
I think that's all good. It's very touchy with the two people involved doing it, with the families involved, and I think we're very, leery of that. But I think everyone knows the answer to that. It can't be better. JT Barrett going in and have 3 touchdowns and see the smile on his face, see the energized, see the guy that's worked so hard and has his leadership skills, able to use them more, because he's always going to lead. That's just the way he is. And I didn't know this until the middle of the season last year. That's one of the best leaders I've ever been around.
And as far as Penn State goes, obviously they had a strong game against Indiana. What are your impressions of them so far?
Excellent defense. I think they're top 10. I haven't seen the final stats, but they had a hard time moving them last year. Very good defense. Offensively seems to be they're coming in their own. I have not spent a lot of time. That's usually tomorrow. I'll watch their offense. Started slow, but they're really moving it. So obviously, with a lot of respect for Penn State, their players, great players.
Second row left, Lori.
Coach, I remember you saying that you have a camera that looks at your guys on the sideline for reactions and stuff like that. I'm just wondering if that video this year has been especially enlightening, because you've got guys over there, they're so deep, they're not used to being on the sidelines. Are the reactions what you want?
We don't have a specific camera for that. I might have misspoke. What I do is the video, when you're watching plays and I see a big play, I kind of pause it. I want to see who's reacting. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, you've got guys over there right now who, because you're so talented and deep, I mean, Joey Bosa's probably spending more time there than he ever has. Cardell obviously is spending time there. So are you seeing what you want to in the reactions?
Yeah, I'm seeing a very close team, a team that's playing very hard. And I think that's a good point, but I have not felt it or seen it. I've certainly not seen it, and I listen very closely to the Ryan Stampers of the world, the guys that know these players, and listens and find out there's not some issues, because that's something we watch very closely.
Specifically with Cardell, I mean, how tough is it to be the guy until you get to the 20 and then turn the reins over, and what does it say about him that he's doing that?
I think Cardell continues to grow as a human being, as a young man, as a person that I have a lot of respect for. Maybe that respect wasn't there 2 years ago because he hadn't earned it. I think that's the same. My thought, the reason I say my, is I'm talking about the whole program. There's an incredible amount of respect for that kid now and the way he handled this, the way he's. I didn't see the quotes, but Jerry asked me about, can he go visit with you guys? And certainly, he's earned that right. I imagine he would have said all the right things. Because I think he's earned the right to have that conversation. Now we're going to do what's best for the team. But he was involved in that conversation. And like I said, 2 years ago, he would not have been. People earn things around here. And he's really earned a lot of opportunity to let me know what his thoughts are.
Far left, Rob.
Urban, a little off topic. I assume you know what's going on at USC out there. Without getting into specifics, you've been on both sides, you've been an assistant head coach now. How hard is it for an assistant to confront the head coach or to say something that the head coach may not agree with? Just kind of that accountability piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would
both
rather not
sides.
speak to that because I don't know the
Right.
whole situation. I
Big
can answer your question because I think there's certain, and every coach wants that guy on his staff. You know, a guy that, you know, I've had them all along my time. I think, you know, right now Luke and Chris fall into that category. Luke Fickle and Chris Ashton, certainly. I've always had it with Mickey Marotti. They don't give me one of these because head coaches are wrong a lot of times. And you need to have the checks and balances in place to make sure. So I think you need probably a little bit more mature coach that's been around for a while. Because I seen some things when I was assistant coach, I'm still to this day upset I didn't fix it because I was very young. You know, and then the older you get, more mature you get, which I don't think we should do that. So does that answer your question?
Far left, Matt.
Just wondering, you're midway through the regular season. When you look at your team and you're looking at film, what do you see? Where do you think you guys are at?
I think a very good team that gave up 130, I think Chris told me, 130 yards to a scrambling quarterback. That, you know, they came out, and I give Mike Loxley a lot of credit. They came out and went back to kind of his roots when he was at Illinois as an offense coordinator. Pure spread offense against us, Q runs. You know, we stopped the tailback. That's 2 weeks in a row that we, you know, basically eliminated the run game other than the quarterback run. And they had some Q runs, but what really hurt us, that long one was just a scramble. We're in quarters defense, the defensive line got out of position, and he took off and ran straight ahead. And, but I like, and I disregard the last touchdown against our defense. That was simply a ridiculous play on offense that the game should have been over. We're already, the 2s and 3s were already in the game, and so we gave up 21 points. One was a touchdown pass. We were a little bit out of position, not necessarily the player's fault. And then the other one was a long run. So I think defensively, I like we're at. Offensively, our best performance. You know, the penalties, red zone production. 4 penalties on offensive line in the first half. That was the only negative of the whole. Really the high-end execution of the pass game. And so I'm pleased with where we're at.
You feel like week by week you're getting better? And I ask because, you know, there's a
Yeah,
lot
I just want to make sure guys are enjoying the wins. I started the season with, you know, I think we're 6-0 now, won 18 or 19 straight. You know, that's a lot of victory meals been had around here. We need to continue that and enjoy them, and not let the drudgery pull you down. Because Tuesdays are grind, and when you know when people have high expectations for you, it's like a freshman coming in here. Why aren't you starting? Can you imagine all that? Because, you know, during recruiting, and it's just tough. It's high expectations and how you deal with them. And that's as much as dealing. I'd rather not go there, but deal with when you lose.
Front row left, Bill.
Urban, it seemed like in the red zone this week there was a more concerted effort to run the ball, whether that was to JT or Zeke. I think it was, if the numbers are correct or not, it was like 15 runs on 16 snaps inside the 20 or something like that. Why is it that JT allows you to run the football at that rate in the red zone that maybe you guys weren't doing when Cardell was in there?
A different type of runner. Cardell's best runs, if you remember a year ago, on scrambles. Not necessarily in the Q run. Q run, you have to be a little more of a tailback with the niftiness and ability to jump cut, do the things that JT does for us. I think we threw a fade runner, threw it to Mike, but we were running the ball well. We certainly had passes available, but I think that's pretty much the focus of most people who get red zone, good about getting the ball. But your guy's short, so how do you equate that? You run option football or you run quarterback?
And it seemed like just because at least the plays that JT scored on were either straight ahead runs or I think one might have been a sweep. It seems like things that Cardell has done for you and seemingly done well at times. Why do you feel that JT is better?
Cardell can't run a sweep, and he can't really run straight. No, he's more than his yards have been primarily scramble on pass plays. Like if you remember last year in those big games, went back to pass and something happened. He took up on it.
Why can't a guy who's 250 pounds run through the
Not,
back for 1 yard out?
not as nifty. You know, great question, but he's just not. You know, he's more of a. It takes a little bit to get 250 going, I guess.
Third row right, Brett.
Hey, Coach. I know it takes time to learn new positions, talking about Braxton. How have you figured out how to integrate
he's starting and he's playing, he's teaching, and you know, one of the things when Braxton and I talked, you know, he's got some big time goals and he should. He's very blessed, and he wants to play at the next level. And so we take that very personal upon ourselves. We've had great success developing receivers for the next level. That doesn't necessarily equate to 160 catches a year, 110, or you know, sometimes that's just a product of the style of offense. Or we like to fully, like a Philly Brown, the reason he's playing isn't just because he can catch a pass, it's because he can line up, go block, and function in an offense, a balanced offense. And that's our job. I promise Braxton we do everything we possibly could to get him ready to go, so he can maybe have a career in football and also help Ohio State.
Right.
So he's full, as of right now, he is fully integrated as a wide receiver at Ohio State. He was not early in the season. He didn't know what to do. The you know, good, you know, whatever it is, we're 50-50. I think we're 230 rush, 230 pass, which is about, we want to be a little bit more yards, but we want to be balanced. So half the game you're going to be getting your hands on someone blocking, and he's done a much better job of that.
Can I follow up with a question about chemistry? Because we know that offensively you've had your ups and downs this season. It doesn't come down to scheme, because look what you did last year. It's not ability, obviously you have the players. It's execution, and what is execution if not chemistry? What effect has Braxton's transition to wide receiver had on your offensive production?
Well, you know, we're leading the Big Ten, I believe, in scoring offense, rushing offense. We're doing a lot of good things, maybe not the Star Wars numbers that took place a year ago. And that doesn't mean we're not trying. So his chemistry is great. He's been voted captain 3 years in a row. I'm not sure of the question, but has he impacted the chemistry? Is that what you're asking?
The fact that he's moving from one position to
No,
another.
I mean, it's been great. It's been great.
Second row, David.
Urban, whenever you do something unique with these black jerseys, you always, you always say, you know, run it by Archie. Like he's the conscience, the program, and kind of the tradition police. Just kind of curious what those conversations are like, and if you've ever kind of been told, you know, no, let's hold off on that idea.
I'm not really part of those. You know, the only time that I did was when we wanted to use Justin Hilliard at 47 with the Chick Harley family. I did it because that was asked to me. I'm not really privy to those other conversations about the old-fashioned uniforms. They do everything. You know, like other people do that.
Last couple questions. Left, Doug.
Urban, when we've talked about JT this year, it's been a lot about like how he's handling things and that kind of stuff. But you know, we saw him play very effectively on Saturday. He maybe wasn't as good consistently, you know, when he came in maybe against Northern Illinois. Like, how do you think he's played? You saw him compete all of August. Was he as good as you thought he would be? Was he maybe not what you thought? How has JT played this year?
He played good. You know, it's different. I think he's a guy that gets better, like a lot of players, once you let him roll. And I'm hoping that's developed a little bit in the red zone for him. But I think he's played okay. You know, I don't think the Northern Illinois game was particularly effective for whatever reasons. Maybe it was the competitive reps he gets in practice. And those are all things we look at. But I think he's a fine player, and he's going to continue to get better throughout the year.
And I guess I'll like rephrase a little bit what I asked after the game. If JT's the red zone guy, why wouldn't he be the quarterback all the time? And I guess I just mean like from a football explanation of, you've talked about how the quarterback run game helps you in the red zone, but what is it as you think about this quarterback situation?
I think
not all the time.
You kind of caught me off guard with that question
Yeah.
Saturday night, and I think I go back to for JT to be the quarterback, he's going to beat Cardell out. There's no anointing. Does that make sense? And so I look at it. I look at that picture. For someone to go play defensive tackle here, they have to beat out Adolphus Washington. Now that doesn't mean there's good ones in there that we're going to get in the game somehow. But for him to be the full-time guy, you've got to go beat out Josh Perry, Raekwon McMillan, and they have to beat him out. And so that has not happened. That doesn't mean it's been very close, because it has been.
And I'll ask you something now. I think that has been sort of
So you get 3 questions.
You know, I wasn't going to ask this.
You almost go to this.
I know. I learned it from Tim. I wasn't going to ask this, but I'll just ask it because it's sort of been floating out there, just out there. When Cardale came back to Ohio State, did you make any promises to him
Absolutely.
that have influenced him being the starting quarterback here?
Absolutely not.
Because that is something that people theorize.
Yeah, that's absolutely not.
And last set of questions. Tim?
Sorry about that. Oh, are you gonna wear black, or y'all having special unis
I
for the
have no
coaches?
idea. I won't. I don't know what I wear.
That's not one of my questions. One, you told us a long time ago that you like to sit on Thursday or Friday and come up with a number of touches for guys who deserve touches. Saturday, how close did you come to those numbers? Or do you still do that? And was Saturday,
Sure.
how close did that come to matching what you kind of wanted to see from an offensive spread out standpoint?
Well, tight ends, you like to have them a couple,
Yeah.
you know, and then, because they've earned that right. And then also Dontre Wilson's a kid that, you know, he tweaked his foot a little bit too, by the way, in the game, he had to come out. Curtis Samuel was going to hit the target number. Mike Thomas we did. Braxton Murley hit the target number. JT Barrett was involved in it. I have him on the list now. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty close.
And does that, at this point in the season?
Jalen Marshall's another number.
Yeah. Does that mean you're getting close to what you envision this offense as, or did you sit in August and think what it could be? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. I think everybody looks like for some profound thought, but boy, it's every day's a grind, man. There's injuries involved. There's someone has a short shoulder, someone has this, someone has that, that maybe you're not all privy to, or you know, a defense is playing a certain way. That's what we sit in that room and work so hard at. So it's not as easy as I think give this guy 10. Well, the defense isn't giving us those 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to answer your question, I think is that this is last Saturday was a lot of that was a lot of fun on that sideline because you saw guys playing and saw guys executing and making plays.
And this is real quick follow. What is your feeling now though that you have found a way to have Cardale and JT involved? You understand what I'm saying? Because you talked about them in August about deserving.
This is a whole other challenge. You know, it's
Yeah.
every week. Does that? I would love for Cardale to throw for 300 and JT to do that again. This defense is probably going to have something to say about that. It's a very good defense we're facing. So that one's in the books. We felt great about it, but everybody knows this the journey continues. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach.
Thanks.